all kind of company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, a car dealer and his associate, both from the village of Burrell Boom, are charged for the murder of Felix Martinez and his common-law wife, Adelita Gillette. Belize unveils new currency design honoring national heroes and phasing out monarchical imagery. Belize reports 2% inflation in November 2024, driven by rising food and housing costs, and major investment coming to Corozal. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, January 23rd, 2025.
The New World screwworm is a serious threat to livestock, pets, wildlife, and even humans. It begins when a female fly lays her eggs in a wound or mucous membranes of a live, warm-blooded animal. These eggs hatch into larvae that burrow into the flesh and feed on living tissue, causing severe damage if left untreated.
Monitoring your animals regularly is key. Check your livestock and pets for any wounds. No matter how small, even something as tiny as a tick bite can attract New World screwworm flies.
Clean and treat all wounds immediately. Keep them covered and monitor them for any signs of infection or larva. Early treatment is critical to stopping screwworm infestations. If you suspect an infestation, notify your local authority, PAHA, BLPA, or the Ministry of Agriculture right away. Quick action can prevent the spread and your livestock and the community.
Together, we can protect our livestock industry by preventing New World screwworm from entering Belize. Stay vigilant, treat wounds, and report any signs to the proper authorities. Stay informed, stay protected.
Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. The Belize Central Prison is now home to Giovanni Jones, a 29-year-old car dealer, and his associate, 23-year-old Jerwin Segura, both of Burrell Boom Village. The men were jointly charged with 2 counts of murder as police believe they are responsible for the death of 26-year-old Felix Martinez and 24-year-old Adelita Gillette, also of Burrell Boom. The couple was found shot multiple times inside their Chevy Equinox SUV parked alongside the highway near the Crooked Tree Junction on Monday night. The 2 men appeared in the Belize City Magistrates Court this morning without legal representation. According to police reports, the tragic events leading to the murders stemmed from a financial dispute between the victims and Jones over a vehicle that had yet to be delivered. Martinez and Gillette were reportedly seeking a refund of more than $30,000 from Jones prior to the fatal confrontation. And while certain media houses have reported that the couple was robbed and that blood trail was found in the vehicle suggesting money was stolen, today Commissioner of Police Chester Williams refuted those claims.
Let me first and foremost say that I have been extremely disappointed in the conduct of some members of the media. We see where they continue to create their own narrative without having due consideration for the feelings of the victims of this particular incident. We have to understand when people are killed, there are loved ones who are grieving, and how they feel do matters. When we are creating our own narratives without any facts, it doesn't speak well to you all as members of the media. For example, we saw with Channel 5 again posted their own narrative that there was blood trail in the vehicle that suggests that monies were taken. I don't, or I cannot understand how they arrived at that. unless they're trying to say that they were on the scene and they may also be suspects of the crime because they know more than investigators. So I truly want to appeal to you all as members of the media to please be more responsible and take into consideration the feeling of people who are grieving when they have lost their loved ones. I would ask that to please do that.
Let me ask you for some clarity on that only because you called it. So I don't know that we said it was robbery, but that's not the point. The point, I think what we said that there were monies and in the vehicle and those monies were missing, or those monies went missing. Is there any truth to that money was on the scene and those monies were no longer there?
Mr. Lopez, I'm sure that you took English 101.
Sorry.
In English, certain things can be expressly stated and certain things can be implied. From the comment made by Channel 5, it can be reasonably implied by any reasonable person that you all were suggesting that robbery was the motive.
According to the Compol, the department believes they have a tight case against both men charged since they were found in the immediate area where cops found the dead bodies.
Investigation showed that the two persons who were murdered had given, I believe, $35,000 to the car dealer, who is a guy Jones from Barrel Boom Village. And I think 2 months had passed and he had not brought in the vehicle that he had promised to bring for them. They then sought to recover back their money from him. They even went to the extent of going to a lawyer, and the lawyer sent a demand letter to Mr. Jones. It can be reasonably inferred and even substantiated by what the two suspects have said, that they lured these two individuals to that area where the murder actually took place. Now, there are certain things that they are saying that investigators do not believe, and the facts or the circumstances on the ground prove otherwise to what they are saying. So there are several inconsistencies in their account that they gave to the police.
Today, the Compol also confirmed that the victims were lured to the area, and when it comes to motive, all fingers are pointing at a car deal gone bad.
Police conducted investigation right away, and a few minutes later, two suspects were detained in a vehicle that was seen parked right behind the vehicle that the two deceased persons were in at the particular time, or immediately after the shooting, or immediately after the persons were found in the vehicle dead. Other evidential material obtained by investigators during the course of investigation led to the arrest of two individuals, one of whom is a car dealer and the other is an associate of that car dealer. Those persons were charged yesterday, and I believe they were taken before the courts today, where they were remanded to prison.
According to Compol, Jones is a licensed firearm holder. Jones and Segura are scheduled to return to court on March 25, 2025, as the investigation continues. In light of the gruesome double murder, today Commissioner of Police Chester Williams sent out a stern warning to car dealers and buyers.
I have many people who are car dealers. I ensure that if it is that you're going to enter into business with people, they must give people what they ask for. And if you made a contract or a promise to do something for a person, i.e. bringing a vehicle by a particular time, they must ensure you bring that vehicle in by a particular time. But again, persons who are buying vehicles need to be more responsible in terms of knowing who they're buying vehicles from, and likewise, do not give all your money to people. If it is that you want someone to bring a vehicle for you, give them maybe half of the money or a certain portion of the money. When you receive your vehicle, upon delivery to you, you pay the balance. Do not take all the money and give it to some of these car dealers, because the truth is you'll be conned out of your money. So again, just do a little bit more due diligence in terms of knowing who you're buying and what you're buying.
In grandiose event in Belize City this evening, the Central Bank of Belize revealed its new design for the country's currency notes featuring two of Belize's national heroes, the Right Honorable George Cadle Price and the Honorable Philip Golson. The redesign formally removes the British monarchy from the Belizean currency and adds extensive safety features to prevent counterfeit. Aside from new safety measures, the new bills feature a sleek and modern design aligned with Belize's move towards adhering to international best practices. The governor of the central bank, Kareem Michael, stressed that while the new banknotes feature different designs, their value remained unchanged. A dollar still equaled a dollar, and the exchange rate stayed steady at 2 Belize dollars to 1 US dollar.
Following the establishment of the central bank in January 1982, for example, the bank issued notes in 83, 90, 98, and 2003 to enhance security features in its banknotes while continuing to incorporate Belizean wildlife, national culture, and historic sites. It should therefore be evident that the Central Bank of Belize has always embraced opportunities to improve the quality of notes that we provide to the public, as well as the features that prevent counterfeiting. The new family of notes that we launched today are no different. They are designed to enhance security features, making them more resilient against counterfeiting and misuse. As you will hear from the Prime Minister shortly, the new family of notes also allows us to recognize and celebrate our heritage and the rich history of Belize. As I bring these brief remarks to a close, I would like to re-emphasize that when we put the new series of notes into circulation, there will be absolutely no change in its value. Today, 1 US dollar is equivalent to 2 Belizean dollars. This will not change. The value of 1 Belize dollar after the new banknotes are put into circulation will remain the same. We will continue to share this message with the people of Belize over the next several weeks and months as we launch the campaign to educate the Belizean public about the new currency notes. Our objective is to ensure that all Belizeans are made aware of the main features of the new notes, including the appearance of each denomination in the series. Through this campaign, we intend to ensure that all Belizeans will see the new currency notes as a symbol of national pride, another reason to celebrate the beauty and rich history of our country.
These notes, according to Prime Minister John Briceño, exemplify the true meaning of being Belizean by honoring two of the most significant figures of our country's legacy.
The primary reason for this change was to incorporate technological advancements into new notes for increased security features and durability. In 2023, Cabinet supported the plan for new notes to be put into circulation bearing images of our national heroes. This is one more way for us to remember the sacrifices of those who came before us. And I want to acknowledge the families of both the Price family and the Golson families, for those that are here with us, and to say thank you on behalf of the Belizean people for the sacrifice of both Mr. Price and Mr. Golson, and even the families had to sacrifice those years when these two gentlemen were fighting for a national identity and fighting for an independent Belize. Each time we look at the faces on our new currency, we are seeing history, we are seeing leadership, we are seeing the great work of the father of our nation, George Price, whose whole life was dedicated to service to our country. We will remember Philip Golson and the fact that he spent time to the building next to the Central Bank, the part of the museum, where he was imprisoned for his nonviolent resistance against a cruel colonialism. The story of our national heroes is embedded in the story of Belize. Today, we honor Belize's cultural heritage and the transformative impact our national heroes have had on our country. George Price led a revolution that was peaceful and constructive. He worked hard every single day to lead our nation to independence. Philip Golson understood the value of hard work and became known for his tireless work to defend his values. Today, as we look to the future and admire the redesign of the new secure currency notes, let us look beyond its value, but see in this as an investment in our economic stability. Let us also celebrate those heroes who exemplify our national heroes who symbolize our resistance. And these banknotes, as these banknotes begin to circulate, let them serve as a tangible connection to our past and a symbol of the bright future that lies ahead.
The new notes will be released in June of this year. As conversation for the upcoming general elections increases, both major political parties are cementing their candidates in constituencies across the country. Earlier this week, Tracy Panton's faction of the UDP announced their pick to contest the elections in Mesopotamia as businessman Lee Mark Chang. Chang will be going head-to-head with UDP area Representative Moses Shine Barrow and PUP candidate Larry Ellis. Mesopotamia has been a UDP stronghold for many years. However, there are those who believe that the UDP division may give the PUP an upper hand in that constituency. Commenting on that matter, Prime Minister Briceño maintained that while Chang is popular in the division, the PUP will undoubtedly put up a fight to win the area.
Well, whenever you have your opponent support is being divided, certainly it gives you as an opportunity. But you're right, the Mesopotamia division has been voting UDP since 1974 when they defeated Lindsay Rogers, and it's on us now to be able to try to take advantage of it. But it's still difficult. We have a very good candidate, and so I'm very hopeful that he'll be able to do well. I mean, Larry, he was born in that area. He grew up in that area, so he's well known in that area. Really nice guy, and so maybe we would have to take advantage of this opportunity that has been offered to us.
Do you view Lee Mark as a formidable candidate?
Of course, Lee Mark is well known. He also lived in that area for a long time. His family, the original Chosan was I think it's Euphrates in that area, and so I think he's pretty well known in that area, and I'm supposing he has access to enough funding, and so yes, we see him as a formidable candidate.
In other matters of the UDP and the upcoming elections, the question of who will be allowed to use the color red as their voting color will be left to the proper authorities, according to the PM.
Thankfully, that's not for me to decide. That's something that the Elections and Boundaries Commission will decide, or the Chief Elections Officer. So I leave that to the experts, and the officials. They will decide who will get the red.
Since acquiring the Port of Belize, the government has been looking at options to have the facility fully graded for the benefit of the Belizean people. Prime Minister John Briceño has announced that his government is teaming up with a Miami-based company to develop a master plan for the port. In an interview with the media this week, Prime Minister Briceño explained that after acquiring the port, the previous owner wanted to charge an unrealistic amount for their already finalized master plan. In response, the government is funding its own plan, which will include the construction of a world-class cruise and cargo port.
you're good at spinning the negative, and I give you for that. I give you credit for that.
Thank you.
But what you don't see the work that is being done behind the scenes, and we expect that by I think it was next month, or at the latest in March. Right now, we have a group out of Miami working on a master plan on how we're going to progress, how we're going to move the port forward, and the investments necessary. The cabinet has already agreed. I presented a paper to the cabinet several months ago on what are the different options. A is to do a cruise and container port, and B to be able to just the container port. And we saw the options, and cabinet felt that it's in the best interest to do both. And so we are working on a master plan to do that. The previous owners were working on a master plan, but of course, they say they want to charge us an exorbitant amount of money if we want to take over that plan that they were working on. So it's best we're going to do our own. It's pushing us back a few months. There have been a number of companies that have expressed interest. MSC has expressed interest, Carnival has expressed interest, and other investors have expressed interest, but we're not going to do anything until we have, say, this is a plan, okay, who are going to be the strategic investors? There are many people that come in and said, well, we would be interested, but we don't just want to jump at it, we need to have a plan, and then we're going to move forward. So I do believe that by the end of the next government, we should have a cruise port and a modern container port.
So does that mean...
Coming up next, Curacao Town set for major transformation with over $1 million IDB investment. Stay tuned.
Real reggae lovers and true reggae fans, it's actually here again. The annual tribute to the late great, the king of reggae himself, Robert Nesta Marley. 2025 is the Esports Center in OW. Prime Belize DJs and Song System featuring Reggae Dutch, Ras and Jaro Firestarter, Echo Stone, and of course, Mark the Sparks. Powered by Vibes Alive International. Date, set, remember, it's all going down. Esports Center, OW. Prime Belize DJs and entertainers. Date, Saturday 1st February. Brought to you by Charitable Roots Foundation, The Beauty Shop, Hair Salon by Ken, The Hotel Isabel, Madisco, and Orange Walk Town Council. Let's hail the king. Bob Marley, Tribute, 2025. Kenny G said, out and bad.
What about let's get together and feel alright, as it was in the beginning.
Keeping our beautiful town of Orange Walk clean is everyone's responsibility. Use sturdy bags, tie them securely, and avoid placing sharp objects inside. By properly bagging your garbage, you're not only making it easier for our sanitation workers, but also helping to prevent litter and keep our environment clean. Let's work together to make a difference. For large disposals, contact us for an evaluation.
In a momentous development for regional diplomacy and trade, Dr. Osmond Martinez, the Minister of State for Foreign Trade, has officially taken up the chair of CARIFORUM for the period of January to June 2025. This prestigious leadership role not only underscores Belize's commitment to regional integration, but also highlights its intention to play a pivotal part in guiding the Caribbean Forum's initiatives over the coming months. In a proactive move leading up to this significant responsibility, Belize hosted a high-level CARIFORUM delegation from January 14 to the 17, 2025. The delegation, spearheaded by Director General Mrs. Alexis Downs Amersam and supported by Mrs. Yvonette Baron George and Mr. Rovin Gangsnam, engaged with Belizean officials to discuss critical matters pertaining to CARIFORUM. This engagement was designed to ensure a seamless transition into the leadership role and to bolster effective governance during Belize's tenure. During their visit, the CARIFORUM delegation conducted comprehensive briefings with officials at various levels within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Key discussions points included policy dialogue, institutional frameworks concerning the Economic Partnership Agreement EPA, development cooperation initiatives, and the evolving trading relationships under CARIFORUM's agreements with the European Union and the United Kingdom. According to Minister Martinez, the team also looked at the importance of strategically addressing pending matters within the regional work program, including the installation of a unit that will be responsible for project preparation facilities.
And so by installing that unit, it will help us to, one, be able to develop bankable project proposals for climate resilience and climate adaptation at a faster pace. Because right now, whenever we develop any climate resilient proposal, it will take anywhere between 5 to 7 years, which is too long. But once a unit is put in place, whereby we, as Caribbean countries, would be able to develop a concept note, and then based on the concept note, we should be able to access some of this funding without too many constraints or obstacles. Then it becomes much easier to have a bigger impact into our different economies. So in the agenda, the objective is very important for us to put in place a project preparation facility unit.
Curacao Town is poised for significant development as the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, has committed to funding major projects for the municipality with investments exceeding $1 million. This exciting news follows a meeting held in Belize City earlier this week, where Mayor Rigo Vellos, alongside his official delegation, engaged with key IDB representatives about the upcoming projects. During the meeting on Monday, Mayor Vellos met with Rocio Medina Bolivar, the IDB's country representative in Belize, alongside Financial Secretary Joseph Waite and the Chief Executive Officer of the Ministry of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor, and Local Government. This gathering marked the preliminary discussions on the project designs, strategies, and compliance measures required for the proposed initiatives aimed at uplifting the town. On Tuesday, Mayor Vellos provided insights into the discussions held over the 2 days, emphasizing the importance of careful planning and execution for the projects that will lead to lasting improvements in Curacao Town.
On Wednesday, they met individually with the councils, and we took a small delegation spearheaded by me. It was me, my deputy, Mr. Otoniel, Ms. Councillor Marlene Tapia, Mr. Ryan Rivera from Oceana, my administrator. We went to Belize City and we had a deep discussion of how the projects will be carried out, the different ideas, finalize the ideas and turn it into projects. This is a project that will come to Curacao in the future. We are sure that it will create opportunities for a lot of people. Of course, it will create opportunities for the town with a bit of economic development, and of course, the beautification of infrastructure. That's the information that I have to share right now. In the future, of course, whenever we get more details, I can easily share it to the media. But I can tell you, it is a very, very good project. We are excited about it. It's a project that will benefit all Corazaleites.
Is this a continuation to the plans that I think we spoke about in February last year? More over that side of what is?
Yes, it starts from in front of St. Paul's and it goes through Mother's Park, behind House of Culture. It will also touch the Municipal Pier, Fisherman Pier, the basketball court, and end at Animals Park. That's the the extent of the project.
And so by the end of the project, we should see basically a facelift of Corozal.
Definitely, through our course. You know? It also has we are looking at, because of we all are very aware of climate change. We are looking at the different options that we have to restore part of our coastal area along the bay, you know, and put everything in position so that we fight against climate change and erosion. Right? That has to be included at any project that we do along our bay side. I am sure that everyone has seen Chakmar Park, how beautiful it looks, especially at night. I know I've seen people running, doing exercises at night. I've seen young people hanging out, which is good. That's exactly what we wanted. We wanted our community to be proud and to use the area.
This past Sunday, the newly renovated Andres Campus Civic Center officially reopened its doors to the public. The revitalization project, which carries a price tag of $180,000 Belize, was made possible through funding from Belize Water Services Limited, following the successful advocacy of the Honorable Rodwell Ferguson, Minister of Youth, Sports and Transport. The project also received considerable support from PUP's Corozal-based standard bearer, Thea Garcia Ramirez, the Honorable Florencia Marin, and Corozal Mayor Rigo Veos, further solidifying a collaborative effort to enhance the community's recreational infrastructure. During a sit-down with us, Alberto Veos, chairman of the Corozal Sports Council, expressed the community's gratitude for the investment and elaborated on plans for the management of the facility moving forward.
And now this is what we have. We have a facility that has been upgraded. It has been repainted, so visually it looks very appealing. It has gotten several upgrades to the court, to the bathroom, to the roofing, to the lighting, very important to the lighting. And in addition to that, it is more secure. It is much more difficult for the birds to come in, and you know, the birds will simply be looking for somewhere they call home. So we have to do, what we have to do is prohibit their entry. Additionally, the shutters have been replaced. The doors, the access doors have been reinforced. They are now steel. They're no longer board that will eventually rot very quickly. So we have seen a massive upgrade here, and everybody who walks in here has seen the improvement. For this place to be lasting, we do need the cooperation of the public, which means that they have to understand that they have to take care of it. They can't simply come here, use the facility, and not contribute towards it. Their contribution for the time being will be their commitment to take care of it, to not litter, to not bring in items that should not be allowed in here. For example, no bicycles, no trash. We have trash bins, don't leave their trash all over the place. No drinks, so that we don't have spillage on the court, which was recently painted, this beautiful painting done with the support of BWS and the Corozal Community College. We need their cooperation for this place to last. The bathrooms have been upgraded, but what we have seen over the years is that the bathroom is vandalized a lot. We need the public to understand that the bathroom is for use for bathroom purposes, nothing else.
In response to questions regarding rental fees for the use of the building, Veos explained that discussions are ongoing with relevant stakeholders to finalize these details.
So I must tell you that in discussions with other sports councils, we are aware that sports councils in other parts of the country do charge a fee for accessing the facility to assist them with the maintenance. It will take a budget to maintain our facility even more, to keep it the way it is, to ensure that if the nets are damaged, to replace the nets, to ensure that we have the right equipment to maintain the court in the best way possible. You know, we do need a blower, we do need a power washer to paint other parts of the building. We need to continue to maintain the fields. So we know that there is a cost to maintaining the facility. While we do get some support from National Sports Council, we believe that we need more. So at this time, while there is no fee in place, there are talks about it. However, what is important is that we need to have that conversation with the users, because we need them to understand the connection between what what fee they may pay in the future to how it will be used and why it is that we need it so that we can enjoy it and appreciate it longer. So at this time, there are no fees in place, but we're inclined to doing it after having conversations with the users, the members of the public. And I foresee that people, when they understand that to be able to take care of this place the way it needs to be, we do need to have the resources necessary for it. I believe that they will be understanding and they will be supportive. But at this time, there are no fees in place like there are in other parts of the country.
The renovations have been prompted by the need for better security and management, especially considering past incidents where uncontrolled crowds led to vandalism during major events. When asked about the future use of the facility for large events, Vios indicated a shift in policy.
It is unlikely. We are still under discussions with the Sports Council as to what policies at that level. We now know what policies will be in place in terms of the usage by the public for sports on a regular basis. But we have yet to finalize whether we will be allowing those kinds of events here, those public events, open public events. At this time, I don't foresee that it will continue because we must protect the investments as best as possible. The court has new paint. The bathrooms have been upgraded. You know, we would not want to see it deteriorating at such a quick pace that would occur if it is exposed fully to some of that behavior, some of that quantity of people, and some of that activity on the grounds. So I believe that it is not likely that we will be allowing those types of activities here. And I believe the public will understand because we have spent a huge number of years looking at the facility deteriorated and not being able to enjoy it the way we can at this time.
The USA's newest president, Donald Trump, has repeatedly announced plans to invade Panama and take control of the Panama Canal, which is a crucial shipping route connecting the Caribbean Sea to the Pacific Ocean. As a motive for his position, Trump has suggested that China operates the canal, citing Chinese investments and infrastructure projects in the region. Panama, which has controlled the canal since 1999, operates the waterway through its Panama Canal Authority. While Chinese companies have invested heavily in the region, including managing key ports, the claim that China directly controls the canal remains unfounded. In response to President Donald Trump's assertions, Prime Minister John Briceño has firmly rejected the notion, expressing strong support for Panama's sovereignty.
That's madness. I don't think that will not happen. I don't see the United States invading Panama to take over the canal. It's good politics. It sounds good for him to say, but I don't think he will go through that. And our support is 100% with Panama. Panama is a sovereign country, and the canal belongs to Panama.
Between the months of March and June, that is when general elections are expected to be held this year. While no exact date has been announced by Prime Minister John Briceño, his party has jumped into election mode while the opposition continues swimming in turbulent waters as Shane Barrow and Tracy Tager-Panton continue fighting for the leadership position. In the South, Dr. Osmond Martinez, who became the elected representative of the Toledo East constituency after he won the by-election held on July 17, 2024, is already on the campaign trail.
So, PM's calling general election. We are as anxious as the general public, to hear the date. So we really wanted to see that day, to be announced. No, in terms of the sentiment on the ground is very positive, but it is not because the opposition is on turmoil. It's simply because under the leadership of our PM Briceño, a lot of work has been done. The people are seeing the work. You can see now you have free education in the secondary level. NHI, for example, in Toledo district, there is a lot of infrastructure work that is taking place. Unemployment rate is low. The economy since or the optics of the people is that for the first time they're seeing such an impact, positive impact of what our economy is doing. And I think even if the opposition was well organized, I believe, and I strongly believe, and honestly, my honest assessment is that the PUP would still have that edge in terms of winning this next election. So I don't think that PUP will win the elections because UDP are having some internal fights. PUP will win the elections because PUP has been working hard under the leadership of Prime Minister Briceño.
The Statistical Institute of Belize has issued the latest figures on consumer prices and external trade for Belize for the month of November 2024. We begin by taking a look at the statistics for Consumer Price Index, which demonstrates a national inflation rate of 2%. For the month of November 2024, the all-item CPI, which summarizes price levels across all categories of consumer goods and services, stood at 120.1. This was an increase from 117.7 recorded in November 2023. As has been observed throughout the year, the main drivers of inflation were higher costs for food products, restaurant services, and home rentals. In contrast, there were notable declines in prices for fuel and information and communication equipment. In the rising categories, food and non-alcoholic beverages stood at 3.6%, with this category responsible for almost a half of the rise in consumer prices for the month of November. Within the food subcategory, prices rose by 2.9%. Notable increases were recorded for fruits such as pineapples, watermelons, and limes. Cereal products such as breads and tortillas, and fresh vegetables and pulses, including carrots, onions, corn, black beans, and red kidney beans. The housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels category had an inflation rate of 2.5%, mainly due to increased home rental costs when compared to November of last year. Additionally, the average cost of a 100-pound cylinder of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) increased by $5.70 from $118.26 in November 2023 to $123.97 in November 2024. For the first 11 months of 2024, the year-to-date inflation rate stood at 3.3%. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Attention farmers. The New World screwworm is a serious threat to livestock, pets, wildlife, and humans. It causes yield losses, damages the quality of meat and skins, and can even kill them if left untreated. Check your animals daily. If you see any wounds on them, treat them immediately. Prevention is key. Apply approved healing and fly repellents to the navel of newborn animals after dehorning, ear tagging, or any other practice that leaves wounds on your animals to ensure your animal's well-being. If you notice worms in unusual wounds, report them immediately. Call Baja at 824-4872 or text or WhatsApp 670-7003 or call your nearest Ministry of Agriculture office. And don't forget, never transport or receive animals with injuries. Together, we will prevent the spread of this dangerous disease. This message was brought to you by Baja, OIRSA, AICA, USDA, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise.
During the Christmas holidays, Belizeans across the country enjoyed 2 separate tax-free weekends where the government of Belize sought to increase the spending power of Belizeans and create greater economic movement in the country. At this time, it is still not clear what was the total amount of money the government of Belize invested during those 2 GST-free weekends. However, Prime Minister John Briceño reiterated that the initiative was a success. PM Briceño also maintained that despite the narrative by some critics, the initiative had nothing to do with the upcoming elections this year.
I believe that we did exceedingly well because, why do I say that? Because whilst we give up the GSC for those 2 weekends, people did not go to Chatham Mall. People stayed here to buy, one. Secondly, it alerted us as to some of the people that don't really pay the right GST, so we've been going after them and working on it. And thirdly, I think it gave us a sense of good feeling during the Christmas season. And so it was successful beyond what we expected. And we do believe that it is something that we're going to be doing in December this year.
So you would have lost more than you can afford?
Not really, because we felt that the economic the movement of what it would generate. Remember, in economics, there's this thing that for every dollar you spend, that dollar moves around 4 to 5 times. So the generator of that dollar spending in Belize, we would be able to get it back with taxes in other areas.
These other areas include a rise in taxes being paid by hotels within the tourism sector. PM Briceño also explained the rationale behind this proposal.
Well, I do believe that the tourism industry needs to pay their fair share. We have invested tens of millions of dollars in the tourism industry, and we taxpayers have paid for it. When you put infrastructure development and the beach development and the marketing and just name it. Right. So now it's time now that this industry is being growing, and it's been growing fastest ever. We're the fastest growing region, Belize, the tourism in the region. And so now that we've done all of that investment, I think it's only fair for us to be able to get back some of that money, and that we can then give the relief to the people that need most, and is the lower middle class. We want to build more middle class. So we've been saying it all along that we want to reduce, or to eventually, if we could find a way to eliminate the PAYE or remove it and just keep it in the higher upper brackets, $50,000-$70,000, that would be ideal for me.
U.S. Ambassador Michelle Kwan demits office in Belize. David Hodge takes over as Charge d'Affaires. U.S. Ambassador Michelle Kwan officially demitted her office in Belmopan on January 16, 2025, after serving for 27 months in her role. This transition follows a series of changes in U.S. diplomatic appointments worldwide. President Donald Trump has sent career diplomat David Hodge to Belize as Charge d'Affaires, tasked with maintaining U.S.-Belize relations during this period. Ambassador Kwan's tenure was marked by initiatives aimed at strengthening ties between the United States and Belize, focusing on economic cooperation, security issues, and cultural exchange. Her departure leaves a notable gap as other nations have received new ambassadors, yet Belize was not included on this list. The ambiguity surrounding whether President Trump plans to appoint a new ambassador to fill the vacant seat in Belize has raised eyebrows, but when questioned about the situation, Prime Minister John Briceño stated that Belize will do just fine with a Charge d'Affaires or an ambassador.
Should we be offended that we are now with a charge and not an ambassador?
Well, that's for their country to decide. We've had charges before. I'm told that Bahamas from about 2012 did not have an ambassador. And finally, I think Herschel Walker, the football player, has been nominated to be ambassador. So it's up to them. We hope that they put an ambassador. And I'm sure that if the people that are close to Donald Trump could realize that, hold on, there's an opening to come to Belize, they would love to come to Belize. Whenever they come to Belize, they fall in love with Belize.
And That's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, January 24th here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.